everyone? This is Carter McKinney from the Entrepreneurs Club podcast. I'm here with Westley Morris. We're here at the Foundry recording studio here in Bethlehem. Thank you to the Foundry for allowing us to be here today. Thank you, Wesley, for even, providing the space and, speaking with the owner, having us here. And, we're here to talk about your book. We're here to talk about your story. And let's get right into it. Can you introduce yourself to the people and, tell them what you're all about here?
Absolutely. Thank you for having me as a guest. Westley Morris, inspirational, motivational speaker here in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. And I've been an entrepreneur since diapers, man. So when I heard of Entrepreneurs Club, I was all in. Absolutely.
All right, very good. Yes. So let's get right into it. A little bit about the podcast is that, we have people that not are only, dreamers that still want to become entrepreneurs. They're either current entrepreneurs or maybe even they're seasoned entrepreneurs, big, having big businesses and ventures. So, I want to keep that in mind during our podcast today. Yeah. And why don't we start with your early life? Let's talk about, who is Westley Morris? What brings you here to sit with us today? And, how did your early life begin, for those that don't know your story?
Yeah. So, I guess I'll start back. My family are farmers. So I come from 5 generation of working class farmers in the middle of Pennsylvania, and that's where I get a lot of my work ethic and my values from, is my grandfather and my uncles and things like that. At 9 months old, Mom brought us to the Lehigh Valley. So this was 1985, right? Mm-hmm. And in 1990, Mom opened up her own business in Hellertown, Pennsylvania. And, I thought I had a normal life. Played football, baseball, wrestling, all the materialistic things that a kid could ever want. But February 18th, 1997, I come home from school. The state police detectives have my whole house surrounded. And I'm standing on the sidewalk. I'm confused. I don't know what's going on. And I see my mom get carried out in handcuffs. That's the day I found out my mom was running a prostitution ring out of her massage parlor. So I was crushed. I was wrecked. Not only did it happen, but nobody sat me down and helped me process that event. Right? So I was left up to my own thinking to develop a meaning about that event. And the meaning that I came up with was, I'm the bad kid and she doesn't love me and I'm going to live up to those beliefs. So pretty early on, I just became the bad kid, doing wild stuff, 14, 15, 16 years old, hanging with the wrong crew. And long story short, by the time I was 19 years old, I had lost my license for 22 years. As a result of DUIs and underage drinking charges. I was just a complete maniac. So growing up, here's the thing. If you've grown up in adversity or some sort of environment that's not the Brady Bunch, you don't know that it's a bad environment in the moment. It's not until you get contrast and hindsight that you say, wow, that was wild, right? Not everybody grows up like that. But in the time, it was just my life, So that's what early life was really like.
Mm-hmm, absolutely. I mean, every single person, especially entrepreneurs, have to deal with the cards that they're being dealt in life, and that's what you've done. You took your cards and you went to the moon with it. Can you talk about what cycling, like the bicycle and the bike and cycling means for you? I know that's been a big part of your journey as well.
Yeah. So. The one thing that I think a lot of people can identify with is the bicycle. When we get a bicycle at a young age, it's our first feeling of freedom, right? We finally have transportation. You know what I'm saying? I can get off the block, mm-hmm. right? I can, mm-hmm. I have means of transportation. So. I loved my bicycle from the minute I got it. My mom tells a story where I literally ripped off the training wheels of my bicycle. So I've always liked the bicycle, but at one point when I lost my license for 22 years, it's almost like you're looking up at a mountain and you're saying, oh my gosh, how am I going to get up there? What do I do now? And I started riding a bicycle. And at the time when I was riding a bicycle, when I first started, I was 28 years old, and I'm thinking this is the worst thing that ever happened to me. Unbeknownst to me at the time, it was going to become the cornerstone of my message later on in life. So the bicycle has many, many different meanings, but I'll get to that in a second.
Okay. I mean, when I hear, when we were talking off camera online and stuff like that, you were talking about the bike, ask about the bike. Have I seen, correct me if I'm wrong, have I seen a picture of you like doing some kind of like cycling marathon or something like that at all?
Yeah.
Like, so what, if you would just expand on the bike and what that means for you, like, have you done any like races or like anything like that?
Yeah, absolutely. So here I am, I'm 25 years old. And my life was pretty rough, right? The circumstances of my life were pretty rough. So in my head, in my thinking, I said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to move to Philadelphia, right? It's the Lehigh Valley, right? That's the reason why I keep getting these results in my life.
So many people say
it. Right? Never wanted to take a look at myself. And I figured if I could change my environment that my results would change. But here's the thing I didn't realize is I was taking me with me.
Yes.
So I moved to Philadelphia, and long story short, I get hurt at work. Mm-hmm. I get prescribed prescription pain medication, become fully addicted, end up being a homeless heroin addict in North Philadelphia, selling bottles of water in the middle of the street like this. I was 50 pounds less than I am right now. I was malnourished, I was dehydrated, and I had abscesses up and down my arms in Kensington, Philadelphia. I saw the darkest side of evil in Kensington, Philadelphia. I was 28 years old at the time, and I surrendered. I surrendered to the fact that I don't know what I'm doing. Right? And when I surrendered, I opened up the door to a possibility that maybe someone else can help me. And I started on the process of personal development. Through that process, I started riding a bicycle. And when I started riding a bicycle, I thought it was the worst thing that ever happened to me. So every day, I got a message, and it said, go help your mom. Go help your mom in a massage business. And I rode the bicycle every single day, 8.5 miles from West Bethlehem, from Broad Street and 8th Ave to Hellertown, Pennsylvania. It was 8.5 miles. And I would listen to these motivational speakers every day when I would ride my bicycle. And it really became the vehicle of transformation from the mindset that I had about myself and my potential to the man that's speaking here today. Was getting on that bicycle. See, cycling is a form of meditation. It's there's many forms of meditation, mm-hmm. and cycling is one of them. Walking is meditation. So this became a meditation where I reprogrammed my mind from lack and limitation to abundance and full potential and self-actualization. So that's why the bicycle became so important in my life. At one point, I get a message, a download from God, and it says, oh, you want to be one of the best speakers in the world, huh? Okay. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to go down to South Carolina. I want you to go speak to 200 kids that don't have dads. But I don't want you to take a plane. I want you to ride your bicycle. So I rode my bicycle 500 miles down to South Carolina on a message from God. And it took 9 days. It was 52,000 in elevation change, 479 miles. And I left with calves. I came back with full-grown cows.
Mm-hmm. There you go.
And when I came back, I got a divine download. Day 3, after I'd come back, I get woken up at 3 o'clock in the morning. And God says, that bicycle that you rode is a metaphor for a successful, meaningful, and purposeful life. Watch this. All you entrepreneurs out there, you can use this as a benchmark, as a blueprint to create whatever it is that you want in your life. The first thing you have on the bike is the handlebars. Those are our decisions. Our decisions create our destination in life. 1 degree to the left or to the right of my handlebars, I'm ending up in a completely different destination.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to know how to make good decisions, and it's important for you to define your purpose in life. Because once you define your purpose in life, every decision gets filtered through that purpose. It's either in alignment with that purpose or it's not. So that's how we make good decisions that are in alignment with our purpose. Next is the frame of the bicycle. That's my mental and physical health, my mental and physical well-being. 1 crack in that bike frame, I'm on the side of the road watching everybody else go through life. So you got to take good care of your mental and physical health. Next is the pedals. Those are my desires, my dreams, my goals. The bigger the dream, the more power I put to my pedals and the further I go in life, right? Next is the chain. Those are my daily actions. They have to be in alignment with my pedals, with my dreams. It's like me saying I want to be somewhere in life, but my daily actions aren't in alignment. I'm never going to get there. So you've got to have daily actions that are in alignment. Not only that, but everybody knows that a chain is only as strong as its weakest link.
Mm-hmm.
So it's actually our weakest habits that keep us from our dreams, not our strongest ones. Next is the gears. Successful people know how to switch gears at the appropriate time. The gear that I'm in now isn't the gear that I was in 2 hours ago. It's not going to be the same gear that I'm in 2 hours from now. So you got to know how to switch gears, and you have to have the foresight to see what's coming down the road of life so you can get in the appropriate gear and maximize your efforts. Next is the wheel. That's my support system. At any given time, all my weight was on 1 spoke. And in life, you're going to have to rely on a handful of people. So make sure you got a good, strong support system around you. Next is the tires. Front one's filled with inspiration, back one's filled with motivation. Now on that 500-mile ride, I had to check and fill my tires daily. Because if you ever try to ride a bike on flat tires, boy, it makes it real hard to do. And if you ever try to go through life uninspired and unmotivated, boy, it makes it real hard to do.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to find something that inspires and motivates you on a daily basis. Next is the seat. You're going to have to support yourself, Carter. Nobody's going to believe in your dreams like you believe in your dreams, man. You're going to have to support yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why I said yes to this is because I see you doing that. I see you in the community. I see you pushing. I see you grinding. I see that you're willing to support yourself. So you're going to have to support yourself and have the internal dialogue with yourself and your potential. Next is the water bottles. 500 miles, you better bring some water bottles. What's in your water bottles, Wes? Is it filled with anger, resentment, distrust of others? Or is it filled with love, hope, optimism, and joy? Are we drinking poison expecting for good results? Or are we drinking something that's going to nourish our spirit and help us to create? Now, the funny thing is when I got down to North Carolina, I started to hit some tunnels, right? And I would go into the tunnel with my bike, and it got dark, and I got scared. So I got to the next tunnel. So I'm in the middle of the tunnel, it's dark, and I tried to turn my light on, but it wasn't charged up. So I get to the next tunnel, and I flag down a car, and I said, hey, can I go in front of you because it's dark in there, my light's not charged up, and I'm scared. The point is that we're all going to go through dark tunnels in life. It's just life. Make sure that your light's charged up, but if not, you can borrow someone else's to illuminate the way. But make sure that yours is charged up.
Mm-hmm.
Funny thing about the bike is when you try to backpedal, it doesn't go anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
It just spins.
It's kind of fun sometimes, though.
Yeah. Whee! And in life, you can't go back.
Mm-hmm.
The bike only goes forward.
Yes.
Right? So we need not go into our past and use that as a benchmark for what's possible. Lastly, and my favorite, you have the brakes, right? Everything in the universe is subject to the law of rhythm. The sun goes up, sun comes down. Tide goes out, tide comes in. It's been winter, spring, summer, fall for the last 6,000 years that we've been recording history. Sometimes you're grinding uphill, just trying to make things happen. Sometimes you got momentum and you're coasting down. On those downhills, don't forget to use your brakes, man. Slow down. Take in the views and enjoy the ride. We seem to get so fixated on trying to get to the destination that we completely miss the entire journey. And life is so beautiful at 8 miles an hour, so keep pedaling.
Beautiful. So this is a perfect segue into talking about you as an author. I would say almost a majority of the guests on the podcast, this is episode 6, but we've had a majority of the people that have been guests have been authors, published authors like yourself. So can you talk about your author journey? You know, were you always into books, like reading? I know I wasn't in school. I was always a visual person. I'm now a photographer. I'd rather watch a movie. It might even take less time. But my goal is by the end of this year, 2026, to write a book as well. So kind of reclaiming that fact that I haven't liked to read historically. And again, to your testament to what you're saying is that not pedaling backwards, very much going forwards and you know, writing. Writing is documentation. Documentation could be turned into a book. a movie, or anything else. So yeah, could you, without further ado, could you tell us and the guests about your author journey and what this book was like for you? Like, did it cost a ton of money? How much time did it take? And maybe who helped you? And even, I know as being an author, you need an editor, don't you? So like an editor or, you know, being able to talk about those kind of things.
Yeah, you know, so I was not, growing up, I was not a big reader.
Yeah.
Right? And partially because I was labeled, you know, ADD or ADHD. I got all the letters, and I got them all.
Yeah, a lot of letters.
Yeah, a lot of letters, right? So you know, I was kind of programmed that I have a little bit of dyslexia, so reading was tough. But when I started the transformation process, I started to study successful people, and I realized that leaders were readers. Right?
Okay, say it again now. Yep.
Leaders are readers.
Yes.
And as I studied successful people, they spend a lot of time reading, right? So I kind of fell in love with books, not because I enjoy reading, it's just that I wanted to get better. So you know, if I can take a concept from another person and I can implant it into my mind and utilize that information or that concept or that idea to get better results in my life, I'm all for it, right? And one of the things that really helped me make the decision to write the book is I think that we all have experiences, right? But very few people ever evaluate their experiences. So when I'm dead and gone, okay, whoever comes after me, kids, cousins, nephews, whoever it is, they're going to have something that they can taste, touch, and feel that will live on way beyond me.
Yes.
Right? And so many people, so many of us, we die with the stories still in us.
Yes.
So even if it doesn't have to be a New York Times bestseller, but simply just taking the ideas, the lessons, the experiences of life and documenting them in a way that will live on way beyond you, there's so much power in that, and there's a lot of therapy in that. Because what happens is we just go through life, never evaluating our experiences, never extracting the lessons from life. And the writing process really helps you do that, right? Now, ChatGPT, AI, you could write a book in 30 seconds. And what I'm saying is you don't get the same benefits that I got from writing it out.
Yeah, and changing it and having different versions. And one thing that I love is peer review, right? Submitting your work to other people to have them annotate, read, correct, suggest. Or even say, hey, this wasn't you. You know, this isn't in alignment with what I know of you. Yes, I love that. So I really love that it's a hardcover. I always had an affinity to hardcover books. I like the color on it as well. So, I mean, how long did it take you to write it, if I could ask?
Man, it took probably the better part of 18 months. But that's just because I got a coach, a writing coach. That's what I did because I know myself and I'm great out of the gate. So he was somebody to keep me accountable. Michael Goultig. out of DC. He was my writing coach. Yeah.
Okay, so how did you meet him?
Through I'm part of the Empowered Living community, which is a community of like-minded people. Probably 2.3 million people on the platform. You can go to Facebook and look them up. And I got introduced to that through Paul Martinelli, who's my direct mentor and my guiding light in life. He's my voice of reason. You talked about the John Maxwell program.
Yeah.
Paul Martinelli was the founding member of the John Maxwell program, so he created the program for John Maxwell. The reason why we have the John Maxwell program is because of Paul Martinelli. So that's how I got introduced to Michael Goldtig, is through that whole network.
Okay, so how has the fact that you really identified with motivational speakers early on in your journey. That's what was one of the voices of reason and one of the guiding forces of your life at one point. And now, full circle, you're a motivational speaker. I just saw the other day that you took your first business travel for a flight for work and speaking engagements and things like that. So you're flying around, doing speaking engagements now and being a motivational speaker and an author. So can you talk about how that feels as full circle, that you went through a lot of struggle and, barriers and things of that nature. And now, you're doing what your, mentors and some of the leaders in your life, were doing for you, and you're doing that for others. How does that feel?
It's amazing. It's when you're doing it, you're just going. And every once in a while you stop and you're like, wow, I got here. I got here. Here's the thing. I didn't choose speaking. Speaking chose me, definitely. Mm-hmm. It's a gift. It really is a gift. It's a gift that I've been given. Now I've done the hard work to master that gift, right? But it really is a gift. And all I did was get into alignment with God's will for my life. That's all it is. And it's been hard. It's been really hard. But I think anything that's worth anything is. If it's not hard, then we don't really appreciate it. And it's not the goal that's important. It's not waking up and being a professional paid speaker. It's the process of becoming that person. That's the real payoff. And that's I want young people to understand that entrepreneurship is not about numbers on a screen. It's not about awards. It's not about revenue or likes and clicks. It's about going through the trials and tribulations and the process of getting better. Because all that materialistic stuff, that can all be taken away. Like that. Mm-hmm. But the person that you become in the process, that'll last forever.
I love that. Okay. So, given what you've said, we talked about your early life, we talked about the bike and speaking and, working with your mom in the business. So, correct, you worked with your mom in the business and helped her grow the business after what had happened. Is that correct?
Yeah, so that's an amazing story.
Yeah,
my mom is the coolest person I've ever met, right? So she believed the lie. Look, we are all living up to our self-image, right? That is the deciding factor on the results that we get. So my mom, she just had a self-image that's all she was worth. And look, she had 2 kids. She had to survive, so she did what she had to do, right? OnlyFans makes my mom look like Mother Teresa. I'm going to tell you something right now. But in 1997, that wasn't the case, right? So in 1997, she gets blackballed for this thing that she did that's been going on for thousands of years. And she fought. She stayed in the same place, in the same town, while the whole town, blackballed her. 3 years after that arrest, 3 years after I watched her go through the most embarrassing thing I've ever seen anybody go through, I come home from school. Ma, how was your day? Wes, I want you to meet somebody. I look to my left, and there's Donovan McNabb, the head quarterback of the Philadelphia Eagles.
Wow.
My mom goes on to be the head massage therapist of the Philadelphia Eagles.
Wow.
From 2000 to 2012, 3 years.
Holy crap.
What if she would have quit? What if she would have packed up shop?
Yeah. Wow.
She fought. And most amazing comeback story I've ever heard, right? Not just because it's my mom, because it's the truth.
No, that's great.
So 20 years later, 20 years, it's been 20 years since this arrest, right? She had did amazing things in the community. She's worked with some of the top athletes in the world. It takes 20 years to build a good reputation. It takes 5 seconds to lose it. And once you lose it, you may never get it back again. Right? Because people will always remember you for your downfalls. So 20 years later, I get a message that says, go take over your family business. I rebranded. I said, you know what? This woman, she never rebranded. She never changed the name. So I rebranded, new website, brought in technology, just revamped the whole business, grew it 1,000% in 5.5 years, right? Working with Olympic athletes, Division I athletes, PGA, NFL, grown the business. We had 15 therapists. It was incredible. Same thing, award-winning entrepreneur, most influential man of the Lehigh Valley by Lehigh Valley Style magazine, holds citations from the U.S. Senate and U.S. House of Representatives, all these amazing things in society. And I gave it back to my mom.
So she still operates it today?
Still operates it today.
Okay. Yeah, because Hellertown is a small town. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
And at that time, that had to be challenging for you and your family. Now that you are, a motivational speaker and author and all these things, what do you see as next for you? Like, what's next for you? What does right now for the podcast we're in 2026? What does 2026 and beyond have for you? What's next?
So, I have collaborated with a guy named Ed Rush. Ed Rush wrote a book called God Talks. And it's a technology, a modality on how to communicate with God, utilizing our mental faculty of intuition. Best-selling author. I read the book. It's incredible. I use the techniques in my own life, and I've collaborated with them. So I'm going to be a part of a bigger project that's coming in 2026, and that will be on a national, global scale.
Yeah, I want to do more international business. I have my passport. I've been to Canada as of now. I really want to, go overseas and do photography and different kind of work. And I also recently launched the McKinney School of Media and Marketing. So every service that we offer, we also teach, including business and AI. Yeah, so it's been cool. Brand new chapter. Just like you're talking about with this project, that project for me has been, just everything is new, which is a lot of work, kind of restarting something. I also implemented weddings now. So weddings, I was turning them down for a long time, and, I am now accepting weddings, and it's different. It's a lot of consultation with the client. You got to really kind of know them, their family, and it's very involved. So now that you say that project is on the horizon for you, what advice do you have for other people? I know you've shared a lot, but what other advice do you have for people that would want to become an author, would want to become a motivational speaker, and maybe even how they can get in touch with you, or maybe some resources you might know of, maybe the John C. Maxwell program or others,
Yeah, absolutely. I was just thinking about this earlier. There's a quote that I saw on TikTok, and it just resonated. And it was an actor, and he said, if you don't quit, you might make it.
Mm-hmm.
But if you quit,
You definitely won't.
you definitely won't.
Yeah.
You see that?
Yes.
Yeah, I forget who said that, but
I don't even know.
yeah, and that's what it comes down to, man. You know, you just, if you don't quit, you might make it, right? I would say get good, right? Get the reps. Get the reps. Everybody wants to, go to the top of the mountain without going through the process. So
Yeah.
you got to get the reps.
Yeah, I know. Like people say, the 1,000 hours of mastery. I think it's many more than that. Like for barbering and like cosmetology with hair aesthetics, my fiance is in aesthetics. They have to go through often like 1,000 to 1,250 hours for their schooling to get licensed, and that's just for them to start. So how are you supposed to master it in 1,000 hours? So I think it's probably 10,000 hours or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think like those old school stories of the guys in this big city and they helped they were the person back in the day. Those numbers are never tracked of how many people they helped and stuff like that. So what I'm saying is I agree with you about just putting in the work, what I mean? Being really out in the street, doing the thing, and not making excuses about it, you know what I mean? So, yes, this has been a great podcast. What else do you have to share with the people? Like, maybe for the person that, you said something that stuck with me. You said something about people remember the bad things that have happened to you. Mm-hmm. It sticks out when you mess up. But there's so many redemption stories, like with your mom and with so many people. Can you speak maybe something to those people? And that redemption is something that's extremely possible. You know what I mean? Because yes, it's gonna stick out if something goes wrong. People make mistakes all the time. In one of my other podcasts, I was talking about when Denzel Washington said, "Fail fast." Mm-hmm. Can you speak to that a little bit, like redemption and bouncing back?
Yeah, absolutely. And just to speak on that, we're in a studio right now, right? Mm-hmm. This is the studio that I use to film content. The very first thing I did was come in here and fail. I paid to fail. I did. I came in here because you can't improve a result until you have a result. So I had to get in here. I had to fail first. I didn't come in here and just, nail it on the first shot. I had to come in here and fail first. And then I was like, all right, this is how we get better from here, right? So I understand that process. So I'm looking for failure quick, fast. The other thing that I'll say is that your future potential has nothing to do with your current results. Mm-hmm. Your future potential has nothing to do with your current results. Meaning, everything that you can see, taste, touch, and feel in your life right now is not a reflection of what's possible for you. It's just a result. And we can't improve a result until we have a result. They're just results. And the result doesn't have to be good or bad. It's either desired or undesired. You don't have to have an emotional attachment to the results in your life. It's either, is this what I want? No? Okay, then we got to change something in the equation. That's it. Mm. And so many people, myself included, become emotionally attached to the results in their life, and all that does is block you from getting better results.
Yeah, one thing that really helped me is the concept of alignment. That maybe you're not wrong or I'm not wrong. Maybe things just aren't in alignment, or they are, or maybe there's a pivot that needs to take place to be in alignment. That's something that really has put me at ease, and also like focusing on what you can control and stuff like that. But yes, so this has been a pleasure. Thanks for being here with us, making the time out of your busy schedule, traveling all over the place, speaking and being an author. So what, specifically with your book, I really want to kind of delve into that. So, like, how many books have you like sold, or like have you done like a book tour or any of that, like a book signing events?
We haven't done the book signing event, but I think I'm definitely profitable. So I think we've sold over 3,000.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because I think the average is only 500 that an author does in their lifetime or something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
Something.
Yeah.
When did you put it out, the book out?
That was last year.
Last year. Okay.
Yeah.
So do you have any plans for doing another book?
I have plans of revising it.
Yeah, another version.
Yeah, just because what I do is, and the last chapter of the book is everything that I talked about with the bicycle, and asking those questions in your own life, like how do you make decisions? What is your purpose? How are you taking care of your mental, physical health? What are your goals, dreams, and visions? What's your daily actions, right? So taking it and turning it more into a workbook where people can implement those concepts into their life.
Yeah, Javadi Crawford is she's someone that has been on our podcast, and she's a good friend of mine. She's also an author, and she said that, people really enjoy workbooks. People really buy workbooks and stuff like that. So just as much as you're telling people and sharing information about the book, I think it would be important for people to be able to work through some of those things, and have some exercises and activities in there. It's cool.
Absolutely.
What about like an audiobook? Maybe your mom could read it or something.
Yeah, we're probably working on that soon.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Bart Bailey is another person that was on the podcast. He was one of the very last episodes, actually. He was talking about, for the audiobook, he's going to split it into parts. So his sons are going to read part of it and stuff like that. And when he was really intentional about, who was going to read what parts and why, and I was like, wow, like I gotta do something like that,
Mm-hmm.
But yes, thank you so much, Wesley. If you could just tell the people where they can find you.
Yep.
Maybe how they can reach out to you, and what for and stuff like that. We'll sign off.
Yep. Westley Morris. You can go to westleymorris.com. That's WESTLEY Morris.com. You can find me on all platforms: Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, YouTube. Or you can just text me, call me. Phone number is 610-554-5533. Keep pedaling.
All right, sweet. Thank you so much, guys. Entrepreneurs Club podcast episode 6. We're here. Boom. See you guys next time.